Thank you for letting me know.
And we're live. Hey, Morgan, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
So good, thanks. I am so glad that we made this happen because I've been looking forward to this. I mean, every time we have a discussion, it's always amazing. And even though I've known you for quite some time and I've done so much work from you, I feel like still every time we have a conversation, I'm still learning from you. So really glad that this happened. And thank you for the booking and the canceling and the booking again. I know you've got a lot on your plate this time of year as well. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for asking me to do this. Every time I do something with Jeff, it's always fun and exciting, and I love the feedback that everyone in the community gives. So it's a real joy to be here. Thanks for asking me.
We got such great feedback from the Jeff retreat. It was such a special session, and we still kind of go back to a lot of people were wondering why we did a money talk at a retreat, and just really emphasizing to people that it is such a big part of our lives, and it's one of the biggest stress factors I think that is in the modern day world. I'm just going to send you this other link
Cool.
so that you can see who is on here. Say hi in the meanwhile, everyone. I see there's a few people online already. Where is this? Where are you? There we go. So you can just follow that link and then you'll get to the comments. Hi, Gavin. Hi, Sharon. Louis, good afternoon. Ames, thanks for joining us. Candace, hi to Neil. Hi, Pat. Welcome, everyone. We'll just give it another moment to see if there's anyone else joining from the beginning of the session.
Hi, everyone.
Are you there, Morgs? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Well, let's give it just another minute. How's everyone feeling? Let us know. And actually, just before we start, we can just start with something fun. Everyone who's here watching, when you think of money and finances, I want you to put one word in the comments of how it makes you feel. If you hear the word money and finance, put one word in the comments of how it makes you feel. Go quickly because we're going to get started soon. But I'm very
It's gonna be
interested to
super
see,
interesting.
what the words are. What would yours be, Morgan?
Oh, me personally, money makes me feel excited. But I think this time of year, and I'm really curious to hear everyone else's responses, I think there is especially a lot of stress around money this time of year. I was just talking to someone the other day who an unexpected thing came up with their pet. Their dog needs surgery and it's like 7,000 rand in this time of year. That's such an unexpected time to have that amount of money that needs to come out of your bank account with all the festivities, holidays, people going away. Maybe you're taking time off work. So I think maybe throughout the year you can have an excited point of view when it comes to money, and then this time of year that can shift into a bit of an anxious state. So I'm looking forward to chatting about it today.
I was gonna say my word is definitely anxiety. And it's interesting. I'm looking at the words now. So we have stressed, happy, scarce, stress, relieved.
Relieved. That's good.
So
Yeah.
that's just it's just testament to this conversation, and why I think it's so important to have these chats. So I think let's get started with a little intro from you, Morgan. I know there are a few people on here who know you and a few that don't. So maybe just a little bit of an intro to you. And you went to school with Dom, right?
Yes, Coach Dom. What's your last name again?
Coach Dom. Dominique DeKlerk.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to high school together, so it's fun to see her being a coach on here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. All these connections. But okay, cool. So if you'll give us a little intro just of you, I guess a little bit of what led you to finance, and then a little bit about Master Your Finances, about your amazing business that you run now.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Morgan DeKlerk. I am the owner of Master Your Finances, which is an international business that teaches people how to do their own bookkeeping and money management. So we specifically work with business owners, but also help individuals, solopreneurs, whether you have a side hustle or just want it for budgeting for your own family, how to manage your money so that it relieves anxiety and stress in our lives. And that's why I love to talk about money mindset and that whole topic, because financial stress is one of the biggest stressors in our lives and one of the biggest factors for our mental health. We talked about it on the Jeff retreat that we had. So you can probably hear from my accent. I'm originally from the United States, but I actually grew up in South Africa. So I went to primary school and high school here, and that's how I met Coach Dom in high school, and then also met my husband now in high school. We started dating when I was 15, so like grade 9. We've been together for a very long time. I went back to the States for university. I got a degree, 2 degrees. One is in international business and the other is in accounting. So you can see how the accounting comes in here, but it's really cool how the international business leads into there too, because right now we help business owners all around the world learn how to manage their money. So Mikhail and I started dating in high school, and after doing 4 years long distance, we're like, enough of that. We were finished, came back to South Africa, we got married and did a little bit of traveling around. I worked as an accountant in a couple countries, and now we've settled back down in South Africa, and now I just teach others how to do their own bookkeeping and manage their money themselves.
Amazing. I've actually done your course before, and
Mm-hmm.
it is absolutely amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Just the variety of clients that you're able to help is always so inspiring to me, because often we can get, I think, quite stuck in a niche. But I think that what's beautiful about your work is that it's not for any specific type of person or specific type of business. It is open to anyone, and you have this ability to tap into the deeper things and not hang around the kind of shallow areas. So before I ask you the first question I wanted us to chat
Thank
about,
you.
everyone who's on here, we've kind of asked for your word of what does money and finance make you feel. What I want to ask you now is to type into the comments one word how you would like to feel when you think about money and finance. So let's see what those words are. Type in the comments now one word, how would you like to feel about money and finance? What would your word be, Morgan?
I would like to feel stress-free about money and finance. I don't want it to be something in my life that is a stressor for me. I think that there's so many other things we need to concentrate in life, and I don't think money should be one of those things. What would yours be?
Awesome. Mine would be I love the word harmony. So I know in the wellness industry, people speak about balance a lot, and I think that balance is it's a little bit tricky, because I feel like we're constantly in fluctuation. So if you're trying to bring everything back into balance the whole time, I feel like it becomes a bit tricky. But if you look for harmony in whichever situation you are in, that
Mm-hmm.
alleviates a lot of anxiety and stress and worry and concern. So I see we've got here in the words content, secure, in control, stress-free, comfortable, able to retire and explore the world. Sharon, that is beautiful. Love that. And so, Morgs, I guess we'll go with that kind of first question of what is the number one way to reduce stress and anxiety around money?
Yeah, so the number one way to get us from those words that we talked about in the beginning, a lot of them were stressed, to get you to that place of feeling in control, secure, stress-free, comfortable. First of all, is to not ignore your money and your money issues. So, and Kath is laughing because we've talked about this a
Guilty.
lot before. Um, to just be able to confront the issue and to not dig your head in the sand when it comes to money issues, whether they can be, you can have a really secure foundation with money and be really good with it, and money issues can still pop up, or you can still bump back into a scarcity mindset, which we'll talk about on the call too. So it's just being aware of your thoughts, your money tendencies, and not digging your head in the sand when it comes to that. So really confronting those. And we can dive into some of the different tools in our toolbox to really make sure that we're dealing with those issues. But my number one tip is to not ignore it and to address the issues as soon as they arise. Or if you feel like this is an area that you need to work on, to really get comfortable and attack the issue instead of hiding from it.
100%. I'm so guilty of that, and Morgan knows since she met me. Well, actually, when I first started doing kind of abundance mindset work with Morgan, is I wouldn't read my emails, like all those little F&B emails. I literally select them, I say read, and I put them in the F&B folder. Like, they're very organized, but I don't look at them.
I know. I love that you don't delete them.
No, I keep them. They're there, but I don't look at them. SMSs, don't look at the SMSs. Whenever I draw money at an ATM, I never ask for a receipt. This has all changed quite a lot. I actually now have built a spreadsheet where I'm starting to be more creative in it and see it as more as an exciting thing. So having your little categories of, this is what I'm getting in, this is what I put away for this, and this, and then what is left, what do I get to do with that? And your money becomes an extension of you, and where you place your money is an extension of the intention that you're putting into the world. Our money carries so much power, and it's actually every cent you spend is a big responsibility. Trying to think of where that money is going, what are you contributing to in this world? And I think that's how I had to see it, is that instead of stepping away from this responsibility of this money that I'm getting, is to actually really see it and own it. And really, the moment you start confronting it, like Morgan says, you relieve so much stress. Look, like you said, there are still going to be moments of stress. There's still going to be moments where you're maybe in a little bit of a stressful situation, but at least you'll have some kind of control over that. And that, to me, has made a massive difference. I see Nicole says here, I have a spreadsheet that I've been keeping for years. I can't understand how people don't know where their money is going. And I follow the rule, pay yourself first.
Yeah, that's great, Nicole.
I love that. But it's I think it's total fear. It's avoidance. It's a coping mechanism. It's keeping ourselves safe. We think we're keeping ourselves safe from stress, but actually the more we avoid it, the more stress we're going to pick up. And so I think that, like you were saying, Morgan, when we started chatting, this time of year becomes increasingly difficult, increasingly stressful. You go straight into January, which feels like the longest month of the year. Yep. Like we always say, like January is a year in its own. And it's hectic. So with festive season coming up, a lot of us, have to go on forced leave, those kinds of things. How does that work? And what, I know I've asked for 3 from you, but you can kind of just spitball a little bit here on a few top tips for festive season financial management.
Yeah, so if you're entering this financial or festive season with a little bit of stress and anxiety around things that need to happen and what you can do with your money, my first tip is, even if you haven't been recording anything throughout the year, get started with just the month of December. So I would literally, on a piece of paper, it doesn't even have to be electronic, on a spreadsheet, because I know a lot of people use the excuse, oh, but spreadsheets stress me out, or I don't know how to use it. Literally just take a piece of printing paper and a pen and write down how much money is going to come in for December. So whether that is your salary, maybe you can estimate if you're on wages, how much you're going to be working, how much is going to come in for that. If you have anything else coming in, if you're going to get a bonus at the end of the year, record that. So anything that is coming in, record that. And then in the next section, I want you to record everything that you're going to have to pay for in December. And this is going to be a lot easier if you have been recording throughout the year, because you can be like, oh, this is how much I always spend on petrol. This is how much I spend on groceries. It's going to be a lot easier. And that's the place that you want to be. But even if you haven't been recording, we're just going to start guesstimating stuff. Start thinking about groceries. And we record our stuff every year, and our groceries almost double in December, which I'm always like, I would have never known that if I wasn't reporting it. But things like food, it goes up. You're going to the liquor store more, you have events, you're going to snacks, people coming over. So start thinking of everything that you're going to have to pay for in December. Petrol, maybe you're going to be traveling a lot to go see family or going away. Start writing down everything that you're going to have to pay for in December. And then hopefully there's enough income coming in to cover all of those expenses. Another thing I want to mention here is to be conservative when you're recording your income. So keep it conservative. Don't overestimate your income and really overestimate your expenses. So if you're like, I could spend anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 Rand on petrol, put 3,000 Rand down, because we don't want any surprises to come up. That's something that's going to stress us out. So record everything that you can think of with expenses, and then take your income and minus whatever expenses you've written down. And if that amount is in the positive, then that's great. Then you can start thinking of, what do I want to do with this money? Like Kath was talking about. Another thing I would recommend, because it's festive season, is even make a list of all the gifts that you have to buy. Really think of everything that's going to need to leave your account. So if you're going to a Christmas party and you know you need to get X, Y, and Z, or maybe you get gifts for every single family members, make sure you write all of those expenses down too. We want to really just brain dump and think of everything. So if that amount is the positive, then you can think of, what do I want to do with this money? Maybe you can give it away. Maybe you can donate to a charity. Maybe you'd really like to give a gift that you hadn't budgeted for, and you're like, oh, I can actually do that. And if it's in the negative, then we need to go back to our expenses and really start to, and this is the part that stresses people out, because they don't want to look at, they feel like it's constraining them. But that stress you're going to have at the end of the month of not having enough money, we're just planning ahead for that, instead of getting a bunch of anxiety on the 21st of December, 4 days before Christmas, because our bank account's zero. So we're just thinking ahead of that, and you can look at that list and say, okay, maybe for gifts, instead of spending this amount on each person, I'm going to spend this amount on each person. Or starting to get creative, maybe making homemade gifts, or maybe you have 4 Christmas parties you're going to, and you were like, okay, I can't afford to go to 1. I can only go to 3. Start thinking of stuff like that to plan ahead. And again, that's not constraining you or trapping you in. That is actually going to free stress anxiety, because then you want that amount to be in the positive or zero. And when it is, then you can enter this festive season stress-free, knowing that you have enough to cover everything, and you won't need to worry about unexpected things popping up, because you've already thought of all of them. So yeah, that's a little exercise that I would recommend you doing before the end of the month. Really start thinking of everything that's going to come in, everything that's going out. And you can always adjust it as you go, but come with a plan in place for December. And I think that'll relieve a lot of stress and anxiety for people this festive season.
Absolutely. And I think most of us can say that when you get to those last kind of between 7 and 10 days before your next payday, that's always when things get like really tight and a bit hectic. And that's going to be right over that time where someone's going to just invite you on the 3rd of Jan for a little lunch, or whatever. And so planning ahead, you can literally go. So with my spreadsheet, I've done different categories. And so I have my insurances, I have my medical, I have my household expenses, and then I've got the also famous miscellaneous category. And so in there, I've got a category called spoils. So as I go along in the month, which I do now, as I get that FNB email, I go straight to my spreadsheet every day, and I put that expense in my spreadsheet.
For you.
So throughout the whole month, I can keep track of how much I'm really using, how much I really still have left, because I think because it's money is such an abstract concept
Mm-hmm.
that, we're not even really using. I mean, I can't remember when last I really had cash with me. I pretty much only use my card or I EFT. So excuse me. So this whole concept of having money is just so abstract because it's never quite there. So you need
Mm-hmm.
to have it in front of you in some visual way, either on a spreadsheet or on paper, and you have to keep track of it, because you can so quickly do a few little swipes at a little petrol station or a quick cup of coffee, but those things really add up. And like you say, Morgan, it's not about being this hectic constraint and this, you're not allowed to do this and you're not allowed to do
Mm-hmm.
this, because that puts us into lack mindset. So for me, and we're going to chat about that now, but for me, if if I'm like, oh, I'm going to get myself a hot chocolate now, then I go and get it. But I do it with this mindset of, this is something that I want, that I need in my life right
Mm-hmm.
now. And obviously, you're looking at your budget. I'm not going to go like buy a new car. But I think that starting with small things, if you are in the process of building an abundance mindset and moving out of that lack mindset, you have to start small. You can't start budgeting to go buy a jet or buy an island. You literally have to be like, I'm going to live in an abundant way that if I go buy my groceries, then I buy my groceries and I'm just full of gratitude that I'm able to do this. That is an abundance mindset. Abundance mindset isn't the spoils necessarily, but it is about doing things that also make your soul happy. We were chatting about our values and our pillars in our life, what's important to us. And something that's quite important to me is luxury, but not
Mm-hmm.
luxury in the sense of like, again, the jets and the jewels and the everything. But to me, living a luxurious lifestyle means that I can go and do my groceries and my fridge is full. And when I need to make breakfast, my stuff's there, but I've planned for it. And you don't do the things that you've budgeted for with guilt anymore.
Exactly.
So where I would, even like now, like if I go do grocery shopping, it stresses me out, and I'm standing at that till and they're swiping the things and I'm
I
looking at that money,
know.
that number go up on the little screen, and I'm like, I literally know that I don't have anything to panic about because I've put this money aside. So now it's an emotional trauma response that I'm actually working through, because I know that my finances are actually covered. So the relationship with money goes so, so deep. And I guess, yeah, moving on to our kind of final question for you, Morgs, is, what is an abundance mindset?
Yeah, you actually nailed it on the head at the beginning of our talk. And I think maybe some people missed it. But when Kath started talking, she said that money used to make her feel stressed, anxious. She would just throw the ATM slip away, wouldn't even look at it. And now she has her spreadsheet and she starts to get excited about it. And that is Kath literally moving from a scarcity, or she's calling it lack mindset, into an abundance mindset of starting to see possibility and getting excited when you think about money, as opposed to a scarcity mindset that is fear-based. So a lot of these questions of how money makes you feel, that is really, I'm so glad you asked that, because that's saying a lot about our money mindset that we currently have. And like I said, you can still have an abundance mindset and feel you're tracking everything, feel full of possibility, opportunity, excited about money, and still, like Kath's saying, stand at the grocery till seeing it stack up, which I don't know about anyone else, but groceries have just gotten so much more expensive lately. Like stuff I used to be able to buy at the grocery store, I can't believe how much it's costing me now. And I walk home with 2 bags. So
Yeah.
even me, I'm standing at the till and I can see it stacking up, and that's triggering an anxiety response in me. So we constantly need to be aware of where our mindset's at and shift into that abundance mindset. And some practical ways to do that, Kath, are we talked about this in our abundance mindset chat, but first of all, recording stuff, because Kath, like she said, she stands at the grocery store when she starts getting stressed. She reminds herself, I have budgeted in place for this. I know my numbers, my past data is telling me I have enough to cover this amount of money. And that shifts you back into the abundance mindset. Another thing, it often looks like self-care. So it's just stepping away from your computer or getting outside and going for a walk. Talking about it, little talks like this a lot. Maybe there's some people not watching this talk because money was mentioned and they don't even want to think about that. But just listening to talks like this, listening to podcasts, asking your friends, well, what are you going to spend on Christmas gifts this month? Or, little things like that. Having a consultation with me, booking it online just to talk about, what do you think I can afford? If you look at how much is coming in and this is what I need to spend, where do you see? Just having another set of eyes on something is often super helpful too. Talking about it with your spouse. If you are in a long-term relationship, talking about it with your partner and chatting hard, cold numbers, because a lot of people, it's taboo. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about how much we make. We don't talk about how much we spend. And I love to start throwing around numbers to people. And even sometimes my husband will be like, you shouldn't have told them what we spent on that. And I'm like, no, because how are they going to know if they need to buy a stroller? They're going to think it's so expensive. And I'm just telling them that that's normal. Like, we had to spend this on a stroller, So by hearing other people's experiences, that's also another way to learn from someone and shift into an abundance mindset. So this is a topic we can talk a lot more about. And I'm getting carried away. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section, and I'm happy to answer them for you.
Thanks, Morgs. Yeah, please, guys, we've got 2 or 3 minutes left. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm actually quickly going to just pop Morgs. Morgs, won't you just tell us a little bit about your email, your website address, etc.?
Yeah, let me put my website here in the comments section, because we have a ton of free resources on our website, and we actually have a free money mindset class. So if you are watching this and you really want to learn more about abundance, scarcity mindset, practical ways to shift from one to the other, then we have a free class like that on our website. Just make sure it's right, masterfinancetoday.com. Cool. And then Jeff put my Instagram account there. I post daily stuff on Instagram, so make sure you check that out for daily tips and tricks. But our website, we have a lot of free downloads if you're looking for spreadsheets, the free money mindset class. So go there first, and then keep an eye out on our social media. We have a Black Friday sale coming up that can definitely help you with your money mindset and tracking things and budgeting for next year. So if you're looking ahead at next year and this is something that you really want to tackle and nail down for 2022, then check that out. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Morgs. Guys, really get in touch with Morgan. You can pop her a message, an email. It's a really fascinating topic, and I think it's like anything else. The more we talk about it, the more we normalize it, the more we take that power away from it. It's really like anything else. And like, I love that you said that, Morgan, like being, it's I think in the good old days, like your money was very private and no one knew what you were earning or what your expenses were. All that was shown to the world was how well you were doing, regardless of what's going on in the back. And I think for, a lot of us, we are living in debt. We are on credit cards. We are on all these kinds of things. And we're putting this kind of front forward. But if you actually start speaking to people, most people are in the same boat. We're not talking about the 3% here, but most people are in a very similar boat. It's buying houses, it's kids, it's school fees, it's groceries, it's unexpected medical bills, it's the petrol price, inflation, it's, COVID, it's so many things. But I think the most important thing, if you take anything away from this, is A, contact Morgan with your money questions, and B, face it head on, like you'd face any other challenge in your life. Like most of you here have really faced your health on, your nutrition, your fitness, your mindset, and this is part of it. In the modern day world we live in, we're not living out in a mountain. We live with the trade of money for services, for items, for experiences. that is our currency. So not running away from that, and rather just facing it head on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I'm here for any questions that you might have. I'd love to help anyone with it.
Thanks, Morgs. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Nicole says the abundance mindset is great. You need to know where your money is going. 100%, Nix. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Wishing you a beautiful Monday further, Morgs. Sending you so much love. And we will stay in touch over December, I'm sure. And we will chat soon.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.